Hello, George. Hello, Emily.
Hello, Miss Morgan.
Well, what can I do for you? Why, Emily, what you been crying about?
Well, she got an awful scare, Mr. Morgan. That hardware store wagon almost ran over her. And everybody says that Tom Huckins drives like a crazy man.
Well, here, let me give you a glass of water. Gracious, you look all shook up. I tell you, you gotta look both ways before you cross Main Street these days. It's getting worse every year. What do you have?
I'll have a strawberry phosphate, Mr. Morgan.
Oh, no, Emily. Have a soda with me.
Well,
2 strawberry ice cream sodas, Mr. Morgan.
2 strawberry ice cream sodas, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I want to tell you something. There are 275 horses in Grover's Quarters this very moment I'm talking to you. State inspector was in here yesterday. Now with all these automobiles coming along, looks to me like the only safe place to stay was to home. Gracious, I can remember the time when a dog would lie out in the middle of Main Street all day long without anything coming along to disturb him. There you are. Howdy, Mrs. Ellis. What can I do for you?
got a prescription.
Yes? Well, let's see. Shouldn't take long to fill that. You just sit down here. Be with you in just a minute.
They're so expensive.
No, Emily, don't you think about that. We're celebrating our election. Emily, I want to ask you a favor.
What?
If I go away to State Agricultural College next year, will you write me a letter once in a while?
I certainly will. I certainly will, George. It certainly seems like being away 3 years, you'd get out of touch with things. Maybe letters from Grover's Corners won't seem so interesting after a while. Grover's Corners isn't a very important place when you think of all New Hampshire, but I think it's a very nice town.
Oh, well, the day wouldn't come when I wouldn't want to know everything about our town. Well, I know that's true, Emily.
Well, try to make my letters interesting.
You know, Emily, whenever I meet a farmer, I ask him if he thinks it's important to go to agricultural school to be a good farmer.
Why, George.
Yeah, and some of them even say it's a waste of time. And well, you can get all that stuff anyway in the pamphlets the government puts out. Well, Uncle Luke's getting pretty old, and he's about ready for me to start taking over his farm. Tomorrow, if I could.
Oh, but George, maybe it's important for you to go and learn all that about cattle judging and soils and those things. Of course, I don't know.
Emily, I'm going to make up my mind right now. I won't go. I'll tell Pa about it tonight.
But, George, you don't have to decide right now. It's a whole year away.
Emily, I'm glad you spoke to me about that fault in my character.
Oh.
Everything you said was right, but there was one thing wrong with it. And that's when you said I wasn't noticing people. You, for instance. If you say you were watching me when I did everything, I was doing the same thing about you all the time.
Why?
Sure, I always thought about you as one of the chief people I thought about. I always made sure where you're sitting on the bleachers, and who you were with. And for 3 days now, I've been trying to walk home with you, but something always got in the way. And yesterday, I was standing out by the wall waiting for you. And I walked home with Miss Cochran.
Oh, George. Life's awful funny. How could I have known that? I thought...
Emily, I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to agricultural school. I think that once you've found a person that you're very fond of, a person who's fond of you, too.
I think it's awfully important, too.
Emily,
Yes, George?
Emily, if I do improve and make a big change, would you be... I mean, could you be...
I am now. I always have been.
So I guess this is a pretty important talk we've been having.
Yes. Yes. Dad?
If you will wait a minute, I'll walk you home.